Hey peeps, welcome back to Lit Medallion. It's your boy, and it's Roddy here, sporting the Lit Medallion. So what do we got going on this weekend? It's a big game. You know it's a big game. You know why it's a big game? Because it's our I-35 rival. What's at stake here? Really, at the end of the day, what's at stake here? Neither teams are in the same conference. Neither teams can stop either team from winning their conference. So what's at stake? Think about it. Rankings at the end of the year. Texas State has come off a big win over a P5 Baylor team. Maybe the jury's still out on Dave Aranda at Baylor, because I'm wondering why he doesn't have an LSU player with him by the name of TJ Finley. We'll talk about TJ Finley later. But what's really going on here? I'm sure you guys know DJ Kinney played QB for Jeff Traylor. So it's pupil versus teacher. Teacher versus pupil. It is East Texas, Northeast Texas, Gilmer, in the heart of Texas. Right? You know it. You see it. You've heard the song. Playing in the Alamo Dome. It's San Marcos, Southwest Texas State University, as I know them, otherwise known as Texas State now, against University of Texas San Antonio, our Roadrunners, our fighting Roadrunners, our mighty Roadrunners. What do I see? You're going to ask me, what do I see? I've had people ask me, what do you see? What do you think? Well, I can tell you I don't think we can lose this game. I just don't. So where do I think we need to excel? We need to excel exactly how we excelled against Houston, and that's defensive side of the ball. TJ Finley is 6'7". He's a big kid, so we got to squeeze that pocket on him because he's going to have a big motion, right? We cannot give up the explosive plays. Baylor only had 441 yards of offense. Not Baylor. Texas State only had 441 yards of offense against Baylor's 540-something. We held Houston to sub 350 yards. It was great. It was turnovers that ultimately cost us the game. It was Frank throwing those two bad interceptions that ultimately cost us the game. So we've got to keep our defensive line getting pressure. We've got to keep our linebackers staying very active. We got to see Trey Moore get in that backfield and not take bad routes, not give TJ Finley a chance to escape, and just go after him. Just wrap him up. Don't worry if he gets rid of the ball, whatever. Just disrupt him, right? That's what has to happen. Our secondary played pretty good. I don't think Texas State necessarily has the horses to outrun our secondary. I think we requited ourselves quite good on secondary. What else do we need? We need our offensive line to continue to play pretty well. I talked about it. They played pretty good. I think not losing a player is going to help us. Because, this time last year, past 2 years, we've already lost one, maybe two of our offensive linemen. That helps us because even though we lost some great players, that creates a lot of playing time for the guys behind them, right? So this is going to work out for us. I see a defensive side of the ball battle for our Roadrunners. I really do. I don't think it's a game of they can stop us offensively. We're going to be without JT Clark again. Chances are he's not coming back until the Tennessee game, which is our fourth game of the season. I personally wouldn't play him. But I can see why that's kind of the target, because it is a traditional SEC opponent. It is a traditional brand name, right? If we're playing Baylor, he probably still wouldn't come out. Baylor was our first P5 win when we were a bad football team, right? We were bad. So was Baylor. So is Baylor any good this year? Who knows? That's where we're going to find out. We are going to find out what both teams are made of. I don't think we can lose this game. I just don't. I think losing this game is going to uh, cause a monumental shift in the spotlight on programs. Who are we? We're coached by Jeff Traylor. We believe in our guys. We don't believe in just cutting guys loose, whatever. GJ Kinney, it's within the rules. It is absolutely within the rules. I'm not saying it's not. So don't think I'm ragging on him for doing something illegal, whatever. But he brought in 42 guys. The only school that brought in more was Colorado with Dion, right? I personally don't like that approach. That's just me. Maybe it's a little old school. Now, I said in my last video, culling the herd, getting rid of, guys who really aren't cutting it, guys who aren't stepping up, guys who probably shouldn't have been offered a scholarship. That's different. But that's maybe 5 guys when you think about it. Maybe 5 guys. You can't tell me that Dion and GJ, with the amount of kids they brought in, made the right choice 45 plus times. Regardless of wins, you can't tell me they made the right choice 45 plus times. When it comes to what is right for the program and what is right for the kids and where the kids need to be. Don't think I'm saying they missed 50% of the time. They were wrong 50% of the time. No, there were at least 4 or 5 guys that I guarantee you that could contribute to their football teams, that they let go, that they pushed out the door, that they gave a bad vibe to, right? Will we know who those 5 are? No, probably not, because they're probably guys who are second string anyway. But all 53 aren't going to be first string. The NFL is it might be more than a 53-man roster, but I thought they went up by 1 or 2 players this year. But it used to be a 53-man roster for the NFL. Dion literally brought in the equivalent of an entire NFL roster. Transferred in, kicked out, whatever. GJ Kinney brought in 40, 43, 45, something like that. I know the number's in the 40s. I don't know how many, but it's in there. That's an entire first and second string in the NFL. This is short-term turning teams around, right? That's why we've got to win this game, because Coach Traylor isn't that guy. If Coach Traylor comes out smelling like a rose winning this game, that makes this process of turning rosters over completely, yada, 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 a bad approach. Now, again, we've asked players to move on. Look, let's find you another home where you can play, where you're a better fit, where you still will get a college education, right? Not just unceremoniously get out of here, right? I don't know if Dion did. I don't know if GJ Kinney did that. I'm just saying it's a little different with how we've approached things from the inside knowledge that I know, right? Sometimes kids just need a change of scenery, which is what TJ Finley has. If I told you TJ Finley was a starting QB or had 80 completions at LSU in 2020, yet transferred to Auburn for 2 years, and now he's at Texas State. What? That's how much we owe someone like Frank Harris, because I guarantee you he could have gone anywhere else if he wanted a higher stature program. And he'd be playing perfectly fine. If you didn't watch the Illinois game, he could help Illinois this year. Guaranteed. Could have helped him last year. Illinois struggling a little bit with Kansas as the time of videoing this. It was 14-0 when I started this video, so it's Kansas. Kansas. Frank could have helped that program. Big time. Stayed with UTSA. Was he offered? I don't know. But he's a Roadrunner. He's a Roadrunner for life. RR4L. greatest acronym in this world, just like me. Birds up, baby. So let's get some pressure with our defensive line. Let's push them in. Let's squeeze them. And let's not give up the explosive play. When I started this and I said, don't be surprised if we only have 7 wins. Texas State wasn't one of the 5 losses. Not in my mind. I'd already penciled in. Hear me out. I'd already penciled in Houston, not as a surprise. Just don't be surprised that it happens. Houston, Tennessee, and Tulane. Don't be surprised if we lose those games. Just don't. Then you throw in 2 conference games, maybe the Army game. Army does that wonky offense. We've struggled with them every time we played them. Remember, we had to beat them in overtime last year. And we won't have JT most likely until Tennessee, which is after the Army game. Don't be surprised. We're staring down right now the way it looks. We are staring down 0-3. Are you as a fan base going to be bothered by that? You better not be. Because I'm telling you right now, we live by the hair of our chinny chin chin on a lot of our victories last year that could have been losses. There were very few went out and just smoked teams, right? Middle Tennessee State, Florida International. Those were tougher games than they should have been, in my personal opinion. You saw my videos. In my personal opinion, tougher games than they should have been. Way tougher. Army, for crying out loud, somebody cover the slot back that just runs straight up the field. Somebody cover him. That's how Army beat us. They didn't move the ball on us. They beat us with explosive plays. So don't be surprised. I'm just saying. I know what I've seen with my own 2 eyes in the past. I know what to expect. I'm just setting expectations proper. But after 2 championship seasons, right? Just winning games that look like we were losing, gonna lose. You got to say, yeah, I want more, but at some point, you got to realize we could have lost those games too. It could have gone either way, right? We made them go in our favor. So if we end up 7-5, I'm not mad. As a fan, it's another winning season. After what I have seen from 2012, 2013 to 2020, think about what I'm telling you. From 2014 to 2019, that's 6 seasons of substandard football. 6 straight seasons. We've turned it around. If we find our way in the AAC Conference Championship game, man, that'd be beautiful. But it's too early to talk about that. Let's get through our out of conference. Let's see what we do with these teams that are motivated. Remember, we have what they want. We're the team that's won our conference. Tennessee hasn't. Last time Tennessee won the SEC, 1998. People don't realize that. They also happened to win the national championship. Last time Army won their conference, what conference? Okay. Texas State, have they ever won the Sun Belt? I don't think so. Houston, they haven't won the AAC, have they? Yeah, they have. They won the AAC in a while. So they know we have what they want. And that's that reputation of winning championships, conference championships. Doesn't matter the conference. They're looking at that. They're going, UTSA is not a bunch of bums. Now, let me look really quick about how much rushing did, because they were up pretty big on Baylor early, so Baylor might not have run. So Baylor only got 108 yards rushing. So can I see it by quarter? I can look really quick, but does it really matter? They only had 108 yards rushing. Baylor's QB had a torn or strained MCL. Pardon me, I just got back from Friday night Tex-Mex. That's okay. Molina's is the best. Four margaritas in. 4 margaritas. Ooh. If you're from Texas, you know that goodness. You know that goodness, right? On a Friday night. But they lost their starting safety, but their QB, like I said, was heavily wrapped, and he's going to miss the next 2 games. But at the same time, Dave Aranda was supposed to be one of the brain children and not really the coach at LSU, right? You got smoked by Texas State. Might be a bad football team. Who knows? Who knows? We're in a new era. Is Baylor good with their NIL? Is Baylor good with, keeping kids from jumping ship? I don't know. I didn't pay close enough attention because they don't matter to me. Baylor, to me, yes, they're in the Big 12. But what have they done? Right? What has Baylor done in 25 years that you can say, wow, Baylor, you're something special? And when you think about it, it's like, oh. Baylor's not much more than Vanderbilt. Baylor's like Indiana at the end of the day. So now it's about, where does Texas State slot if they were to play an SEC schedule, a Big 10 schedule, a Big 12 schedule? Where does UTSA slot if we were to play a Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big 10? Will we be 6-6? Would they be 6-6 with this team they got this year? Hey, maybe. It's definitely. Think about what I'm saying. Think deep about what I'm saying. No one's saying that UTSA, because they're Conference USA champions back-to-back, can go into the Big 12 and win 9 games, right? Be competing for a shot at the conference championship game with this team, right? But you don't think they could be 6-6? I think so. Why not? Why not? What would stop us from beating Texas Tech? What would stop us from beating, come on. What would stop us from beating whoever else is in there? Yeah, you can throw in OU. You can throw in, Kansas State. But Kansas? You don't think we would slot right in above some of those schools? Chances are, yes. Highly, yes. With our coaching staff and our kids, yeah. I honestly believe it. I believe it with my heart. I believe that. So you're watching someone who is all UTSA all day. But I'm a realist. Sometimes you keep living on that edge. You keep living on that edge. You fall over it, right? You're down that side, right? It happens to everybody that does that, right? It just does. So anyway, I will see you guys at the stadium tomorrow. Kickoff's 2:30. It is coach versus pupil, pupil versus teacher. You know it. They're going to be probably very, very cordial towards each other. But at the end of the day, when that kickoff going on, they're going to be coaching their butts off. And here's a fun one. When we lose trail at the end of the season, I'm just saying, it's a lot of free money to throw towards someone who might coach the same way, someone who might resonate with kids the same way out of San Marcos. Think of the possibilities. Peace out, Roadrunners.